You just received a $38,000 settlement check at age 32 with no savings to your name. The instinct screams that you should immediately erase every ounce of high-interest debt and feel like you have won the game. But for someone living paycheck to paycheck, this immediate elimination strategy often sets up a catastrophic failure mode where financial fragility returns faster than ever before. This video explains why paying off all debt right now can actually lower your long-term net worth compared to a hybrid approach that builds an emergency fund first. We are going to reframe how you view this lump sum, not as a tool for instant perfection, but as capital allocation for system stability in the face of inevitable shocks. The anxiety of holding a large check with no roadmap is paralyzing because it triggers two distinct traps: the spending trap, where life expands to fill the new income, and the debt trap, where you over-prioritize repayment at the cost of security. Most financial advice tells you that high-interest debt is an emergency that must be extinguished immediately. While mathematically true on a spreadsheet in isolation, this view ignores the reality of human cash flow volatility for those without a buffer. When you live paycheck to paycheck, your income and expenses are perfectly balanced with zero slack. In this state, removing all liquidity while leaving high-interest debt untouched is risky, but doing so by paying off every cent creates a different risk. It leaves the individual defenseless against any stochastic shock like a car repair or medical bill that arrives before payday. Consider the concept of financial fragility as a single point of failure architecture. If you take your entire $38,000 and apply it to credit cards, student loans, or personal debt, you are optimizing for interest savings in the short term, but creating a system with no resilience. The moment an unexpected expense hits, which is statistically inevitable over time, you will have no way to pay for it without re-entering high-interest borrowing cycles. You would be forced to swipe that same credit card again or take out another loan at similar rates just to survive the month. This negates the net worth gains from your initial debt payoff because you are now paying interest on new balances while still carrying residual old debt, effectively restarting the cycle of financial stress without ever building true security. Quick resource note: I keep a curated set of Amazon search links in the description for books, gear, and tools relevant to this channel's topics. Some are affiliate links, so I may earn a commission at no extra cost to you. Please consider supporting the channel by using those links if you find something useful. The core error in the all-in strategy is ignoring the marginal utility of liquidity versus the marginal utility of interest savings for this specific demographic. For a 32-year-old with no emergency fund, the immediate cost of being forced to borrow again due to a shock often exceeds the long-term benefit of saving on interest rates today. By allocating funds solely to debt reduction without reserving capital for an emergency buffer, you are treating your personal finances like a static equation rather than a dynamic system subject to constant change. The optimal approach treats this settlement as a problem of capital allocation, where stability takes precedence over optimization in the short term because it prevents catastrophic failure later. This is why the hybrid strategy of partial debt reduction and emergency fund building acts as a circuit breaker for your financial life. Instead of liquidating every dollar into creditors, you should first establish a robust liquidity buffer that can absorb multiple months of expenses without requiring new borrowing. This creates a safety net that allows you to handle unexpected costs without derailing your progress or incurring new high-interest charges. The data suggests that the compounding cost of financial fragility is far higher than the interest savings lost by not paying off debt instantly for those living paycheck to paycheck. By securing your baseline stability first, you ensure that any future income shocks do not force you back into the red, preserving the net worth gains you worked so hard to achieve with this settlement. Imagine a scenario where you pay down all your high-interest credit card balances but keep only $500 in savings. A sudden car repair costing $2,000 forces you to put that expense on a different high-rate loan or take an advance from another lender, adding fees and interest to the pile. You have now lost the battle against volatility despite having eliminated one specific debt line item earlier. In contrast, if you had used part of your settlement to build a $3,000 emergency fund before tackling any remaining balances, that car repair would be paid in cash without touching credit or borrowing. This simple shift prevents the system failure where financial fragility forces a return to high-interest cycles and ensures that your net worth trajectory remains positive even when life throws curveballs. The psychological burden of living paycheck to paycheck is compounded by the fear of running out before the next deposit arrives, making liquidity as valuable as interest rate reduction in this specific context. When you prioritize building an emergency fund alongside debt repayment, you are not just saving money, you are buying peace of mind and operational freedom for your daily life. This hybrid approach acknowledges that financial health is about surviving shocks, not just minimizing current costs. It aligns your capital allocation with the reality of unpredictable expenses rather than a theoretical ideal where nothing ever goes wrong. For someone in this position, the most valuable asset you can build right now is the ability to say no to emergency borrowing and yes to stability regardless of what happens next month. The path forward requires shifting your mindset from debt elimination as an end goal to financial resilience as the primary objective. Use a portion of that $38,000 to create a substantial cash buffer, perhaps 3 to 6 months of essential expenses, before aggressively attacking any remaining high-interest obligations. This ensures you have the liquidity needed to handle life's inevitable disruptions without derailing your progress or falling back into old patterns of borrowing. By doing so, you transform this settlement from a temporary fix into a foundational step toward long-term wealth accumulation that can withstand the volatility of real-world economics. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. I am a one-person team working hard to make each video better than the last. Subscribe if you found value. It is the best way to show support. Drop a comment with your biggest takeaway. See you in the next video.